Well, time now to go back to Princes Park. Lots of rain during the week. One imagines things will be a little bit boggy for the runners in the final of the VFA Sprint. Your commentator is Eddie Bush.
Yes, John, the ground is a bit boggy in a couple of places. They will have to churn through it. There's a spot down about 100 metres from the finishing line that they'll just have to battle through, and that probably might decide the race. But we've got a great field lined up. They've battled out for 5 weeks to get here. Tim Cherry will be the back marker from scratch. He is a young lad, probably the best runner in the race because his mark tells you that. He's been in 2 finals and run 4th in the other 2. Brian Meehan, who won last week, is on 16 metres. He has been in 3 other finals, very consistent. Jamie Finlay, Cherry's the favourite at 6 to 4. Jamie Finlay in the blue, who ran a 2nd, a 4th and a 2 finals out of the 5, which is pretty consistent indeed. He is at 7 to 4. The yellow, John Brannan, an unusual preparation for Brannan. He won the first week and then hasn't started since. The green, Darryl Nettleton, the most consistent runner, had the highest points up in a couple of weeks. There was a couple of doubts whether he was absolutely flat out, and he's sure to be a chance off 22. The pink, Phil Sievers, was the surprise winner in week 3. There's one over 400 at stall. The black, Jack Gallagher, who won that very wet day at Dandenong. The ground was underwater. That's Brannan, the unusual preparation. He won the first week and appeared the next, but not again. David Matthews, one of the quiet tips, a strong runner. He's in the grey. The brown, Steve Johnson, very consistent, and he makes up the second of the 2 runners trained by Brian Morgan. They're in the final, Jamie Finlay and Steve Johnson. And the purple, Doug Howe, I think he's been in almost every final of this race, even when it was called the Dandy Dollar. Now, of course, the Nike Sprint. So these boys, they're running for the richest 400 metres race in Victoria. Much richer than stall. It's worth $5,000 overall. That's split up amongst the runners. So the winner today will take out the richest 400 in Victoria. And they're probably pretty excited. Cherry, of course, people say that he's got no chance because he's got a 16-metre gap. But, of course, amateur runners run in their lanes and run their own race, whereas the professionals, a 16-metre gap to the next runner would probably put them out of it. Last week, about 3/4 of a lap from home, I took a look back to see where Cherry was. I declared him no chance at all, and he finished up only about a metre from the winner in 4th place. Howie, of course, at a disadvantage because the limit up till now, because of the prize money, was 60 metres. They're ready to go now. The starter has called them up onto their marks for the running of the richest 400 metres, the Nike Sprint in Victoria. They're on their way now, and Doug Howie, it is the limit marker that's out in front. Then further back to Steve Johnson, who goes very quickly early. Then Jack Gallagher has began well. Then Matthews, it is the tall runner on the inside of him, the fair-headed one. Those 4 are well clear. Finlay, the one making up a lot of ground in the blue jacket around the outside, and Cherry's got a very big job indeed. Doug Howie, it is still out in front. Steve Johnson pressuring him all the way. Finlay is the one that's made the big move. He's right up around the outside. Matthews still there, and Cherry the favourite well back. Steve Johnson it is that settles down. The 2 stablemates are in front. Steve Johnson out in front. David Matthews getting through in the centre. Howie is still there. Johnson is almost done. Matthews, as we mentioned earlier, the stronger runner. He's got to the front now, and David Matthews will take it out. Sievers might have got up run 2nd. Howie a great run to run 3rd. Finlay on the outside 4th. Further back then to Gallagher at the completion of the Nike Sprint. Well, he was the strongest, had a pretty good mark, David Matthews, but he certainly hasn't won out of turn at all. And he's the grey has taken it out. David Matthews was first. The pink, Phil Sievers, was 2nd. And the blue, Jamie Finlay, was 3rd. And certainly be very pleased man there, David Matthews. He had a bit of bad luck at stall a couple of times. He got rubbed out one day. And now we're ready for the presentation. So it's over to you, Ross.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, Steve Roach from Nike has the sash, and I'll take it over to you, Steve.
Okay, congratulations on a fantastic run.
Thanks, sir.
Probably over the last 6 weeks, culminating in a great run today. I've got a cheque for you for $2,200 from Nike, and also the sash from Nike for sponsoring the series. Fantastic run. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Well done, David. Lots of mud over your face, very wet on that other side.
We were sport last week at Port Melbourne, but it's very good. I'd like to thank Nike, put on the race and PRTA. I'd like to thank all my family, and everybody. It's been really good to training partners.
You're very pleased. You had a big smile on your face as you crossed the line. In fact, 20 minutes before you crossed the line, so we're going to get a replay of that. Well done, David Matthews, and thanks Nike. David Matthews, the winner of the VFA Nike Sprint.
Well, it was a great performance by David Matthews. He's one of the runners. I think he's been running for about 15 years. Hasn't had a great deal of success. Always pretty good competitor, and he'll be a very happy man tonight. So we'll be back again next year. So it's back to you, John.
Thanks very much to Eddie Booth. Congratulations to David Matthews, the winner of this year's VFA Sprint.